Hello and welcome to an Odyssey raid guide. This raid guide will cover the first section of Khandaq, including the Waterkeepers and General Adnan. To successfully spawn General Adnan, you must protect 5 rocks. These rocks will be attacked by Waterkeepers. As you can see from the diagram here, we split our team into 2 halves. One half has 2 DPS, a controller and a healer, and the other half has 1 DPS, a tank, a healer and a controller. You can switch your tank to DPS at this point if you need, but it can make General Adnan more difficult, but nowhere near impossible. The DPS will start DPSing on the leftmost Waterkeeper on their respective side, and the controller will stun the rightmost Waterkeeper. The reason for this is because when the Waterkeepers raise their arms in the air and show a casting animation, they will then fire a projectile at the rock, and this will damage the rock. If they get too many casts off, then the rock will be destroyed and you will have to get a new one. Amongst this, there will be several adds spawning. The best way for the controller to keep a good target on the rightmost Waterkeeper is to get close to the spawn point. This way there should be no line of sight issues. The DPS should then DPS the leftmost Waterkeeper down first on their side, and then as soon as that's down, rotate to the right side. If there's any spare time in between, they should simply clear the adds. This should make every rock clear very simple. If you do fail, do not worry, just pick up another rock and try again. I will note now, in terms of splitting your DPS, if you are using a tank, you should put the higher DPS with the tank. This will balance the team more. The rocks will seem to get progressively difficult. This is because the damage is split onto many more adds and targeting is made increasingly difficult. As mentioned before, using simple tactics such as putting the controller in front of where the Waterkeeper spawns and having your DPS close to their leftmost Waterkeeper will allow targeting to become much more easy. When you reach the 5th and final Waterkeeper, it is much more open and the teams can help each other out a bit more. Still stick to your split teams on the left and right. But when you get your left and right Waterkeeper down on your own side, you should then help out the other side and try to clear adds. Using supercharges at this point can be very helpful. We'll now show you in the video this plan in action. As you can see, we first move in and clear the adds and immediately move right to the first area where we will protect the rock. At this point you should have already considered how you will split your team, and your team should be ready to move into position in their respective left and right sections. The tank can then go and pick up the rock, and if he stands on the top of the hut, he can watch for everyone to be in position. As soon as everyone is in position, the rock can go in. The first rock should be relatively simple, as there is minimal adds to clear. As you can see, upon inserting the rock, 4 Waterkeepers will spawn. In most cases, you will be able to start DPSing before these Waterkeepers get a cast, but due to the cutscene, you will see them get a cast off. This will not affect the health of the rock. Immediately, the DPS starts damaging the leftmost Waterkeeper on their side, and when that is down, start DPSing the right one. There's a note now to controllers that they should not stun too early. They shouldn't stun as the Waterkeeper is spawning, and as this will be a waste and diminishing returns will take effect. Ensure that you only stun them when they begin casting. Tanks with above 350 dominance with weapon stuns or power stuns will also be able to interrupt the casts. If you haven't got enough controllers or haven't got enough dominance, it is also possible to get up into the face of the Waterkeepers, which will make them aggro you and fight you rather than casting. We are aware that many leagues still use the pot tactic and stack pots in front of the rock to protect the rock, however we will show you how to do it without. Once the timer has completed, the aqueduct will be sealed and you can move on to the next rock hole. The video has now skipped to the 5th and final rock, which is the most difficult by far. This is because of the sheer amount of adds. Please note you can see here that there is an investigation that does cause line of sight issues, so try to avoid this if possible. Once you've cleared a few of the adds and are happy that the adds are under control, you can put the rock in. The tactics are exactly the same, other than there are more adds in the way causing line of sight. Once again, if the controller gets close to their spawn point, they shouldn't have too many issues. And as soon as your side's waterkeepers are down, you can either clear the adds or help out the other side if they are struggling. Using AoE supercharges can help at this point. Ensuring raid members are close together and not causing any line of sight issues for healers will make this section easier. Some people may die to the amount of adds that are spawning. As soon as the aqueduct is sealed, the boss will spawn. General Adnan is relatively simple. He does cast some abilities which can do significant damage. However, if people die to them, it is easy enough to run back from the zoning. As you can see, the tank should take aggro. The one thing to note here is the ledge behind General Adnan. He will do a large AoE knockback ability, so being positioned behind him near this ledge will cause members to be knocked into adds. This is not advisable, so people should keep to the right hand side of General Adnan and away from the left hand ledge. Throughout this fight, adds will spawn on the balcony above. This will be signified by General Adnan calling for reinforcements. When he calls for reinforcements, DPS should clear up the adds and then switch back to General Adnan. Mechanics to note on General Adnan are his grenade launcher. The grenades are very hard to see. The only way to notice them is a lot of minor damage will be taken before they explode. If you notice you've taken a lot of minor damage, roll out of the way because major damage will be incoming. He will then use several of the mechanics, as mentioned earlier, including knockbacks, which will also cause damage. You can't really avoid these. The best thing to do when he begins stamping on the ground is to block and ensure that your back is not facing the ledge. Once again, if you do die, simply run back. I wouldn't worry too much about pickups in this phase. Some leagues do find it easier to pull the boss to the right hand side of the screen so they are further away from the ledge and further away from the adds. As soon as General Adnan is down, make sure that you clear up the adds, as some people will go straight to the loot window and then raid members will die as they are not paying attention to the 5 or 6 adds that can do heavy damage to the raid. Thank you for watching. This has been an Odyssey raid guide and we look forward to seeing you in the future.